Okay, Claire, you know what? I've never tried this before. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try your real name. Linji Sao? Yinji Sao? Or Cow? I'm sorry if I'm hacking that. I know that you use Claire, and it's probably really smart that you do that so that you don't get your name hacked all day, every day. So that's smart, but I just wanted to try it. Let me know if I'm close. Yinji? But I'm not sure about the last name. But anyways, I guess I'll just continue calling you Claire. Okay, Claire, I think that you've done a good job. Now, I've got a couple of recommendations I think are going to make a lot of sense. Right now, I think that you're kind of straying from the actual intent by adding meaning with these hanging the poster like this. I think it's a mistake. There's a couple of things I think we can do with this page that'll make it really, really super interesting. And one of them is going to entail not using the whole quote. And I just really got to this now. I know I had mentioned them. This is it's a night and day from your first submission where you had the shadows and the backgrounds and all that. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that I really think it's going to work if we pull the elephant away from the ad and don't use the ad, just use the elephant. And at that point, I'm going to suggest that we just use the first sentence of the quote. When you think about it, before you shoot me down here, think about it. The quote really hinges on this part. This is the meaning of the quote right here. I think it dilutes the quote. I think it dilutes the meaning. I think it's a very convoluted quote. I think that anybody other than really hardcore designers will have difficulty understanding what he's saying. This right here is accessible by anyone. Laymen, designers, anyone. I sure wish I could select that. This is it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's cut the rest of that quote out and just use the first sentence. I know it's a move that you're probably going, well, wait a second. I want to use the whole quote. Think about what we're doing here. This is going to tie in directly with this conceptual poster. It's going to tie in with really the whole idea of using imagine the first time this illustrator, this designer said, okay, I want to try this. I'm going to try using an elephant and superimposing the tire in the elephant to give it that kind of really strength and rigidity and longevity and everything else that's associated with the image. Now, could you imagine the art directors at the time going, you want to do what? Now, that's where I think this comes in. I believe in design, 30% dignity, 20% beauty, and 50% absurdity are necessary. I can tell you what, at the time that before things like this came out, these conceptual-based graphics and graphic design, I can guarantee you that everybody who looked at this thought it was absurd. It's not, though. It's just concept. It's creating meaning using two different images, creating a concept. I think it's really a stellar connection. However, again, I just think that the connection is lost by using the rest of the quote. My suggestion is this, okay? I would say let's get rid of the whole poster, everything except the elephant. You can go in Photoshop, select that out, and just mask out the background or take out the background. Just place, don't use the type, don't use the sides of the poster, don't use these hanging things. Just use that elephant about this big on the page, okay? And then come across right here and start your. I believe that in design, 30% dignity, 20% beauty, and 50% absurdity are necessary. Just leave it at that. Put a quote mark at the beginning, hang the quote, put a quote mark at the end, and then take his name and put it over on the right margin here, just so we know that that is not part of the text and that it is indeed the owner of this quote. Finally, my final suggestion would be this. I think that a lot of times you've probably heard me advise students to either lighten up or screen back some of the choices they've made if they're selecting color from the actual background. And the reason we do that is because we want to separate the visual plane. In this case, I think this is receding. This type is receding too much in the composition, leaving a chance that the viewer's not going to read it. For this reason, I'm going to suggest that you go straight black. Just copy that black, sample that black, and use it for your type color. Okay, I know I'm asking you to really change your concept here, but I think it's going to work. I really do. I think it's going to work beautifully. Let me know what you think. Thanks, Claire. Good job.